This is DD India and you're watching Express News, a program where we bring for you top 100 news of the day. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Let's begin. Voter turnout for the first phase of assembly elections in the northeastern Indian state of Bihar stood at 60.13% till 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time, as per data shared by the Election Commission. Polling was held in Bihar's 121 out of the total 243 assembly constituencies, spread over 18 districts in the first phase of the state assembly elections on Thursday. A delegation of Thailand's Election Commission today visited St. Xavier's School polling centre in Bankipur constituency of Patna. It was led by Chief Election Commissioner Ithipon Bun Prakong. The Indian Navy formally commissioned Ikshak ship into service at the naval base in Kochi today. The commissioning ceremony was held in the presence of Chief of the Naval Staff, Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi. The Ministry of Defence informed that Ikshak will enhance the Indian Navy's hydrographic survey capabilities, along with the third vessel of the survey vessel class and the first to be based at the Southern Naval Command. In a special briefing on Thursday, India's Ministry of External Affairs Secretary for the Eastern Region, Sudhakar Dallela, said that President Murmu will be paying a state visit to Angola and Botswana from November 8th to 13th. It also further added that India's growing engagement with the African continent is also in consonance with the government's priority of strengthening partnerships with countries in the global south. Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry organized India Sustainable Aviation Fuel Summit in New Delhi today. The event brought together policymakers, industry leaders and experts to discuss India's roadmap for achieving net zero carbon emissions by the year 2050. The event also saw the release of FICCI KPMG Thought Leadership Report and the signing of a joint study agreement between Airbus and Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya to develop scalable indigenous sustainable aviation fuel from municipal waste. Speaking at the event, Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu said, India aims to become a global pioneer in sustainable aviation fuel development with a dedicated policy on sustainable aviation fuel to be announced soon. India-EU Free Trade Agreement discussions have intensified with India's Commerce Secretary Rajesh Agrawal meeting European Commission Director General for Trade Sabine Weyand in New Delhi on Wednesday. The focus was on core areas including trade in goods, trade in services, rules of origin amongst others, along with technical and institutional matters. During his visit, the Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal addressed the vibrant Indian community in Rotorua along with his New Zealand counterpart Todd McClay. The minister urged them to contribute further to India's Viksit Bharat journey through their expertise and experience. As part of the fourth round of FTA negotiations, Minister Piyush Goyal also led the India-New Zealand Business Roundtable on Wednesday, where he addressed the delegates from both nations alongside the New Zealand counterpart. During the meeting, the minister spoke about a range of issues, including new opportunities in the sectors of finance, banking, hospitality and IT, among others. The Union Minister also enjoyed a day of excitement, culture and Maori connection at Thai Puya Thermal Valley in Rotorua. He was given a traditional welcome ceremony with songs, chants, poi and haka. As part of the visit, Piyush Goyal today met CEO of Air New Zealand, Nikhil Ravishankar, while en route to Rotorua city. The minister highlighted India's expanding aviation sector and the exciting new opportunities that it offers. India's Minister of State for External Affairs, Pabitra Margarita, is in Ecuador. The minister held a fruitful meeting with Minister of Foreign and Human Mobility Affairs, Gabriela Sommerfeld. The two leaders discussed ways to strengthen bilateral relations, including in trade and pharmaceuticals. India and Ecuador also signed an MOU on cooperation between our diplomatic training institutions. External Affairs Secretary West Sibi George participated in the 9th India-Latvia Foreign Office consultations held in Riga, the capital of Baltic nation. During the meeting, the entire gamut of bilateral relations was reviewed. India appreciated Latvia for its condemnation of all forms of terrorism and reiterated its support for Latvia's successful stint at the United Nations Security Council for 2026-27. India and Latvia agreed to expand their relations in areas of trade, technology and people-to-people ties. They also exchanged views on regional and global developments of mutual interest. Indian equity indices ended on a negative note on Thursday. At close, the Sensex dropped 148 points to settle at 83,311. Nifty declined 86 points to settle at 25,510. Gold futures maturing on December 5th were priced at 121,140 rupees per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for December 5th maturity stood at 148,194 rupees per kilo on the MCX. Indian rupee appreciated 9 paise to settle at 88 rupees 61 paise against the US dollar. The Bank of England kept its key interest rate at 4% on Thursday, opting against a cut before the Labour government's UK budget next month, set to feature tax rises. Google said on Thursday that it is to announce its biggest ever investment plan for Germany, alongside German Finance Minister Lars Klingbeil. US-based employers cut more than 150,000 jobs in October, marking the biggest reduction for the month in more than 20 years, a report by Challenger Gray and Christmas said on Thursday, as industries adopted AI-driven changes and intensified cost cuts. US Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announced a 10% cut in flights at 40 major US airports, citing growing safety concerns caused by air traffic controller shortages during the shutdown. Duffy warned that if the shutdown continued another week, it could lead to mass chaos and force him to close some of the national airspace to air traffic. US President Donald Trump and Republicans have been trying to intensify pressure on Democrats by increasing the pain felt by average Americans from the government shutdown. The US Supreme Court justices on Wednesday questioned the lawyer representing Trump administration about his use of emergency powers to impose tariffs on imports from nearly every US trading partner. Responding to the Supreme Court hearing on tariffs, US President Trump said that it would be devastating if they lost the case. US federal safety investigators have located the black box recorders from the wreckage of the UPS cargo plane that crashed in flames on takeoff from the airport at Louisville, killing 12 people. 7 people are feared trapped in South Korea after a large structure at a power station in the city of Ulsan collapsed on Thursday. 2 people have been pulled from the rubble and search-rescue operations are underway. Residents from the area have been evacuated. After a year of talks, COP30 host Brazil laid out a plan to scale climate finance to $1.3 trillion a year. The near 100-page document is dubbed as Baku to Belém Roadmap. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva arrived on Thursday for the World Leaders Climate Action Summit in Belém in Brazil's Amazon region. France has urged the European Union to take measures against e-commerce giant Shein, following uproar over sales of childlike sex dolls on its French website. A body handed over by Hamas on Thursday was identified as Tanzanian Joshua Loithu Molel, according to a statement from the Israeli Prime Minister's office. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz on Thursday said that he instructed the army to turn the area at the border with Egypt into a closed military zone to combat weapons smuggling via drones. On Tuesday, the Israeli military said that it thwarted another smuggling attempt within a week after intercepting a drone carrying 10 pistols which had crossed from the eastern border into Israeli territory. Speaking at the NATO Industry Forum in Bucharest, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said that Russia will remain a destabilizing force in Europe and the world for the foreseeable future. Responding to President Trump's announcement last week that the US would resume testing, Russian President Putin has ordered his top officials to draft proposals for a possible test of nuclear weapons. A Ukrainian army regiment released drone footage on Wednesday showing soldiers raising the Ukrainian national flag at Pokrovsk City Hall building. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un attended a funeral ceremony of Kim Yong-nam, a longtime diplomat who served all the three of the country's leaders who died earlier this week. A fire at a naphtha oil refinery in Belarus, one of the country's two biggest, has been put out and nobody was hurt, the country's emergency ministry informed. The naphtha refinery has a processing capacity of over 200,000 barrels per day. Afghanistan and Pakistan resumed peace talks in Istanbul on Thursday. Both nations said after a previous round ended without agreeing a lasting truce. We are heading for a short break here on Express News. We'll be back in just a bit. Stay tuned to DD India.
Desh Ki Mitti captures the deep connection that Indians everywhere feel with the country's soil. But today, this land and the communities that directly depend on it both face grave threats. We uncover stories of innovation and resilience that are trying to safeguard this soil for the future generations.
When we follow what the scientists recommend, we end up spending less. I now use less fertilizers, but I'm getting better yields.
These kinds of structures, they actually help keep the water in the landscape, allowing it to sort of seep into the groundwater and contribute to maintaining groundwater level.
99% of the cases that I've seen, cause for urgency is not satisfied.
The project is innovative. They're maintaining our beach like a clean city.
Welcome back. You're watching Express News on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Let's resume. Typhoon Kalmegi related death toll has risen to 140 people. Another 127 are missing after devastating floods were unleashed across central Philippines. After leaving devastation on its path across the Philippines, Typhoon Kalmegi made landfall in central Vietnam across the South China Sea on Thursday evening. Over 7,000 people have been evacuated from Vietnam's Gia Lai province after waves as high as 8 meters were observed surging, according to the National Weather Bureau. As leaders prepare to meet for COP30 in Brazil this month, a new UN report warns that global carbon emissions remain dangerously high, putting the planet on track for up to 2.5 degrees Celsius of warming, well beyond the 1.5 degrees Celsius Paris target. The Amazon-based COP30 summit in Brazil will focus on renewed climate action, with Brazil proposing a new UN-linked environmental council. Scientists at the Imperial College London found that climate change made Hurricane Melissa significantly more destructive, increasing rainfall by about 10% and wind speeds by 5 meters per second. The India Meteorological Department has predicted light to moderate rainfall and thunderstorm over Tamil Nadu from Thursday to Saturday. The national weather forecaster anticipated light to moderate rain and thunderstorm with lightning and gusty winds over parts of Karnataka on Thursday and Friday. According to the National Weather Agency, a fall in minimum temperature by 3 to 5 degrees Celsius is very likely over northwest India for the next 2 days, with no significant change thereafter. Over central India, a fall of 2 to 4 degrees Celsius in minimum temperature is likely for the next 2 days, according to India Meteorological Department. The Indian state of Assam will promote its famed Ras Mahotsav festival globally by developing a dedicated tourist circuit, the state's tourism minister announced. India will mark 150 years of the national song Vande Mataram on Friday in New Delhi, celebrating the timeless composition written by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee in 1875. On the occasion, India's Ministry of Culture will launch year-long celebrations from November 7, 2025 to November 7, 2026, beginning with a nationwide mass singing of Vande Mataram across schools, offices and public spaces. Bethlehem is preparing to rekindle the Christmas spirit, with locals and officials inviting visitors worldwide to celebrate peace and hope in the city of Christ's birth. Residents in Germany's Cologne admired the bright supermoon glowing over the city's iconic cathedral, with November's beaver moon appearing larger as it reached its closest point to Earth. Stunning visuals showed the beaver moon rising over Syria's northwestern city of Idlib, casting a bright glow across the skyline. Italy is reviving luxury rail travel with the Orient Express La Dolce Vita, a nostalgic high-end train experience featuring fine dining by Michelin-starred chef Heinz Beck. The autumn fishing season for sakura shrimp has begun in Japan's Shizuoka, with first-day catches totaling 2.3 tons and auction prices rising above last year's average. Google is reportedly planning to build a major AI data center on Australia's remote Christmas Island, a tiny island located 350 kilometers south of Indonesia. King Charles presented the 2025 Queen Elizabeth Prize for Engineering to 7 pioneers of machine learning and wind energy innovation at a ceremony in London. Thousands gathered in Ottery, St. Mary, England for the centuries-old Tar Barrel Rolling Festival, where locals with family ties carried flaming barrels through crowded streets. Munich's iconic Eisbach wave has vanished after an extensive river cleanup, leaving surfers puzzled. Experts say gravel removal from the riverbed may have disrupted flow, though restoring the wave could require artificial rebuilding. Nigerian cheesemakers continue their years-old craft of producing local cheese from fresh cow's milk despite supply challenges, as traditional dairy culture endures alongside rising urban demand for imported mozzarella. Thousands in Bangkok marked Thailand's Loei Krathong festival by floating candle-lit baskets on rivers to honor the water goddess and release misfortune. Danish toy maker Lego has distributed thousands of miniature MRI scanner kits to hospitals worldwide to help children feel less anxious before scans. BTS star Jungkook's immersive exhibition Golden the Moments will debut in India from December 12th this year to January 11th next year at Mumbai's Mehboob Studios. Actors Glenn Powell, Colman Domingo and Emilia Jones joined director Edgar Wright in London for the UK premiere of The Running Man, a dystopian thriller based on Stephen King's 1982 novel. Italian filmmaker Lice Walker will receive the European Achievement in World Cinema Award at the 38th European Film Awards to be held in Berlin on January 17, 2026. Oscar-winning actress Renée Zellweger is set to star and produce in the upcoming psychological thriller Phantom Son, directed by David Yates. Megastar Rajnikant's next film, Talaivar 173, will be produced under Kamal Hassan's Raj Kamal Films International banner, marking a major collaboration between the two icons of Indian cinema. Rajnikant's Talaivar 173 will be directed by Sundar C and is scheduled for a grand theatrical release during Pongal 2027 through Red Giant Movies. Veteran host Tom Bergen is set to return to Dancing with the Stars for its 20th anniversary special on November 11th, according to Variety. Netflix has renewed the romantic comedy series Nobody Wants This, starring Adam Brody and Kristen Bell for a third season, according to Variety. Actor Shailene Woodley is set to star in the upcoming psychological thriller Ultra, written and directed by Victoria Negre. Manish Malhotra's debut production Gustakh Ishq, starring Vijay Verma and Fatima Sana Sheikh, will now release on November 28th, a week later than its earlier date. On to sports news now. The Indian Women's World Cup winning team called on President Draupadi Murmu at Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi on Thursday. Earlier, the Indian winning team, along with their head coach Amol Majumdar, interacted with Prime Minister Narendra Modi at his residence in New Delhi. Prime Minister Modi welcomed the World Cup champions and praised Captain Harmanpreet Kaur and her team for their victory in the final. Captain Harmanpreet Kaur remembered meeting the Prime Minister in 2017 when they did not have the trophy and said that now meeting him with the trophy feels special. Vice Captain Smriti Mandhana said that Prime Minister Modi has been a great source of inspiration for all the women cricketers. Indian batter Jemima Rodriguez recounted her semi-final heroics to PM Modi, saying that semi-final win over Australia was a collective team effort. India defeated Australia by 48 runs in the 40-20 match to take a 2-1 lead in the 5-match series. Australian all-rounder Glenn Maxwell has returned to the playing 11 after recovering from injury. Australia captain Pat Cummins is on track to return for the second Ashes test against England after injury. South Africa have called up wicketkeeper batter Ruben Herman for the ODI series against Pakistan to replace injured D. Brevis. In the FIDE Chess World Cup, Indian Grandmaster Diptayan Ghosh pulled off a major upset against two-time candidate winner Ian Nepomniachtchi to ensure a place in the third round. World champion D. Gukesh defeated 2024 World Junior champion K. Nogurbek of Kazakhstan to reach the third round. Arjun Ergyasi was the only Indian to grab full points in both games as he defeated Grandmaster Martin Petrov to clinch 2 wins in 2 games. Spanish giants Barcelona needed to come from behind 3 times to earn a 3-3 draw against Club Brugge in the Champions League. And Manchester City cruised to a 4-1 victory against Borussia Dortmund in the UEFA Champions League to climb to the 4th spot in the table. So that's it in this edition of Express News. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.